Hello friends, welcome to Shauna Stitches. I'm Shauna, and this is a special episode, my week 4 vlog for Tour De Fleece. And this should be a much shorter vlog than the other 3 have been because those were a whole week's worth, where this is just going to be 2 days. So today is Saturday, July the 26th. 2025, and it is Tour de Fleece day 22. And Tour de Fleece is only 23 days long. I could keep going for the Tour de Femme, I think it's called, but I will keep spinning. I just don't plan on to continue vlogging. So if after this video you're still interested in seeing my spinning and hearing about yardage and fibers and all those things, check out my regular episodes. I am really going to try hard to continue to keep spinning even after Tour de Fleece. In past years, I get really into spinning and then I just kind of drop it like a hot potato after the tour is over. So that's a goal. We'll see if it happens, but yes, check that out. And I have spent all morning not spinning. I have been scanning and counting yardage, and it's a lot. But I'm going to reserve totals until tomorrow because I still have yarn that I'm spinning. I need to set this somewhere. It's a lot. And it's not near as much as some people, for sure. So you have seen in the last video that I had the singles from my merino that I scoured, that I prepared, all that. This is the singles that I spun from the comb top, which are a worsted style spin. And I just put these on the toilet paper roll this morning. And these are the long draw from a bat that I carded out of the same fiber. And this one is the singles that I have spun worsted style, so smoothing, but out of the bat. And last but not least, the one that you have not seen at all is the one that I'm calling the Chaos Bat. And I think MellyKnits has something that actually is called a Chaos Bat. Mine is not the same. These are all the leftovers after carding and combing the merino. So I took that 60 grams. This is everything that I had that was waste, and I carded it on my drum carder. I took the bat that has just a ton of neps, a ton of everything, and I did diz it just to kind of make it easier to spin. And I'm spinning this a long draw. So it's very thick and thin. It's got all the lumpy bumpies. It's going to be a very textured yarn. And if you've been around, you've seen my spinning, you know that this is very much outside of my normal wheelhouse. I'm just letting it be what it wants to be. I'm not picking out any neps, nothing like that. So I'm going to finish this. And then I'm going to start plying. And my goal today is to hopefully ply all 4 of these yarns because they are in that cake form. I'm just going to be doing the 2-ply, 1 strand from the center, 1 from the outside. And then hopefully I can get these skeined up and yardage counted, all those things, and have a grand total for you tomorrow. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and do some spinning. Just for reference, it is 12:27 p.m. and I literally have been working at this stuff all morning. I think the counting and scanning is probably my least favorite part of the whole spinning process, but it's so important and it's so informational. It's just one of those things that we have to do. It's just not fun. Okay, on to spinning. Okay, the chaos has been spun. And I have to say, I'm the most interested to see how this comes out because it could be an utter failure and it might also be really cool. So for something that I was just going to throw away, I think it's a worthy experiment. That being said, I'm going to let this rest on the bobbin while I get set up and start plying the other yarns. And I don't know how long this is going to take, depending on how long. I'll probably check in after the 3 are all plied. But maybe I will do each one separate. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It's 2:45 and I'm back with a big update. I have all 4 of my yarns plied. This is the comb top that was spun worsted style. This is half of the carded bat that I spun long draw. Doesn't that look good? It's so amazing. How can singles be so crazy? And that's what the yarn looks like. Now, I am excited to get it off to actually really look at it, but just on the bobbin, it looks great. This is the half a bat that I spun worsted style. I actually really like the way this looks, and all of these yarns as I'm spinning just feel super soft and nice. But here is, I don't know what might be the most exciting one so far. This is my chaos bat all plied up. And you can see it looks lumpy bumpy. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those slub yarns, which I have never ever knit with. I've never purchased any. I don't think I've even actually physically seen them or felt them. I've only seen them online, I think. But I'm really excited to get this one skeined up so we can see it. And I think the way to go for something like this would be to full this, it's not singles, to full the plied yarn, because I have some bits that are, I don't know how to explain it. The wool is kind of encasing the single and it's just really fluffy, but it's not really like part of the single, it's just around it. But once the ply, the ply would help hold some of that there. But fulling it, I think, would be the way to go. But I'm not going to do that for this sample. I could always do that in the future if I wanted to, like re-wash this and full it. But I want to see what it's like not fulled. So I'm going to go and skein these up and take a look and, of course, count my yardage and see what they look like off of the bobbins, because I think that will tell me more. Truly, what's going to tell me the most about these yarns is after I wash them to see how they change. And then, of course, if I were to knit samples, that would be the thing to do. But I don't know that I will, or certainly I will not get them up in this video for sure. But let me go do that, and I will let you know how they, yardage-wise and how they look and all that stuff. Hello, I'm back, and goodness, I've been doing a lot of counting and math and all the things. Before I tell you the specs of each yarn, let me just show you these yarns. These might be the most beautiful yarns I've ever spun in my life. I don't know why that is, but they're just so pretty. Let me show you an up close of each one. This is the 2-ply from the combed top that I combed myself, and it's very thin. I don't know what I would do with a lace weight 2-ply. If you have any ideas, let me know. Obviously, it would be a bigger quantity than this, but my goodness, the squish factor. Granted, this isn't washed yet, so that could change it quite a bit. But before washing, this is 16.9 grams and 107.5 yards, which is a grist of 2,885 yards per pound for a lace weight. At least that's what the grist calculator says. It's very fine. I honestly think if I spun this, it was about 30 wraps per inch, I think. If I spun this and added just a 3rd ply, it would substantially plump it up, I think. And now I have to switch screens here. I am looking at my computer just because there's no way I know these numbers off the top of my head. Okay, so for the bat that I made from the same merino yarn, this is the half a bat that was long draw. And this yarn is just like the softest. Actually, all of it. As I'm applying it, it's just so soft, so nice. I'm really impressed with it. I guess maybe I'm starting to get a glimpse of why people take the time to hand process a fleece, because the results are quite nice. I I would have to overcome quite the hurdle to get through the processing to be able to get to this point, but I do enjoy this point. So the half bat was 13.8 grams and 57 yards for a grist of 1,874 yards per pound, or what they say is a heavy fingering. If you are new to the term grist, it's something that I learned about and kind of I wish I didn't learn about, just because it bugs me, because based on the math, that's what grist is. Grist is how many yards per pound you get for your spin. So if I was to spin up a pound of this fiber and my consistency stayed the same, I would get the 1,874 yards. So it's supposed to be able to help you figure out, like, okay, I want to spin a sweater and say my sweater is going to take 2,000 yards. Well, then it would take more than a pound of fiber is what it's supposed to help you figure out. But there's also part of that calculation that tells you if you get so many yards, like there's different brackets. This many yards per pound is a fingering weight. So many yards per pound is a sport, DK, etc. So I get really stuck on that number. And I generally will find like my yarn, even if I think like it's fitting in my little yarn gauge, if it's fitting in the fingering, but by yards per pound it says it's a DK, that really messes with my head. I don't like it. That's why I wish I didn't know those numbers, but I do find it interesting. I should actually, let me unskein this, and I'm going to go back and unskein the lace weight one for you too, the 2-ply. That gives you a little bit better or closer look at some of the different strands of yarn. And again, this isn't washed, so this could very much change. And some of my strands are thicker, and some of my strands are thinner. And I don't know. This also confuses me because, you know, how much do you pull on it? Because when I'm knitting, I know I pull on my yarn fairly hard. I mean, I think that's why I tend to have a pretty tight knitting gauge, is because the way I tension my yarn, like there's a decent bit of tension, like not too much, I don't think, but a decent bit. So anyway, that was the long draw. Let me unskein this one for you. This is just so beautiful. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's soft. It's really, really consistent. It's really nice. Okay, the next yarn that I have to show you is the half a bat that I spun worsted style. So this is a semi-worsted or semi-woolen yarn. It's a bat, but I smoothed out the singles. For this, it was 14.1 grams, and I got 63 yards, 63, for a grist of 1,705 yards per pound, which they say is a sport weight. This yarn actually, for how much of a pain in the butt I found it to spin, and that's only because there were neps, and I would stop to pick out the neps, but the resulting yarn is really nice. I could see myself, I'll be honest, I could see myself spinning any of these yarns again. Granted, like I said, I need to wash it. I should knit up a swatch. I should do all the things, but like just feeling the yarn, they are all so nice. All right, and then my last one, my final one, which was what I was calling my chaos bat. And it is a good bit of chaos. Even this one is just really soft, really beautiful. For something that I was going to literally throw in the trash, I really love it. So this was 14.2 grams and 49 yards for a grist of 1,565 yards per pound or sport weight. And here's a better look at some of the thick and thin spots. All the neps are in there. Let me show you if I can find one of those spots where I was talking about where it's like the wool is just kind of encasing the single. That's what I meant. So the plying did help. I can see where the ply is sort of holding that spot in place. I do think fulling it would be smart, but am I smart? I don't know. There's an, oh, that's my finger. There is another one. So yeah, it just made these slubs. I'm caught on my wheel again. But I don't know. I just think it's so fun. So that is my prepped fiber that is spun. They're all 2 plies. Probably if I were to spin these again, except for maybe the slubby one, I would probably go for a 3 ply. The 2 ply is beautiful. It's just quite fine. I just need to learn to spin a bit thicker than I do. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen because it's just my natural inclination to spin thin. I think it's because I enjoy knitting thinner yarns, and I don't know, that's just my head thinks thinner. Plus, I do feel like I have more control over the consistency because you can only go so thin. So thin is thin, but like thick is kind of endless. So yeah, I don't know. It's something I need to work on. That being said, I don't know that I'm done spinning for today. I'm probably going to get a bobbin started with the Ashford pomegranate color, which you have not seen yet in this video. That is this color here. This is a merino silk 80/20 by Ashford called pomegranate. I've already spun up 1 bobbin of this, but I set this spin aside so I could do that prepared fiber spin because I knew there was no way I was going to finish this during the tour. So this is what I will work on through the end of the tour. It will not add any technical yardage to my Tour de Fleece totals, but I will check in with you both after I get this started or at the end of the day today probably, and as well as tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to tell you the totals, yardage, grams, all the things for all the yarn that I've spun. I'm going to say all the yarn that I've finished in this Tour de Fleece. Some of those singles I had already spun prior to Tour de Fleece starting, but I didn't finish them until Tour de Fleece. So tomorrow I will fill you in on that. But for now, I'm going to go and do some things. I'll talk to you later. I'm back. It's been another long day. We finally left the house around 5 p.m. and it's now 9:40 p.m. I went and did some shopping that I did not want to do. I have 2 weddings coming up that I need to go to and nothing to wear. So yeah, I hate trying on clothes. It's not my favorite thing. But on a happier note, I did get my second bobbin of the pomegranate singles started. Still have a very long way to go for that. This is how much more, lots. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to spin any more tonight. It's quite late. I'm going to get ready for bed, and I will see you tomorrow for the final day of Tour de Fleece. Hello friends, we made it to the last day of Tour de Fleece. It is July the 27th, 2025, and it is Tour de Fleece day 23. We are crossing that finish line, and I hope that you have a lot to show for it. I am ready to tell you my grand totals for this Tour de Fleece. Keep in mind, as I mentioned before, that some of my singles had already been spun, but I'm going to talk about all the yarn that I finished this tour, all 23 days. So the first one, arguably my favorite one, is my 3-ply combo spin. As we know, about 1.5 skeins had already been spun into singles, and then I finished the singles and plied it all. In total, I got, not including my little teeny tiny chain ply that was leftovers, I got 1,132.5 yards of about a sport weight yarn, and this is 357.5 grams. Next up, my skein's falling apart. I guess it probably doesn't matter. It's just going to look a bit sloppy. My Ashford Merino silk in the color Sunset. I had started this one as well before this Tour De Fleece, but I finished spinning the singles and plied it. I have a total of, let's see, for this is the 3-ply. I have a total of 399 yards and 89.8 grams. With the remaining 2-ply, this is 113 yards and 10 grams. This is super, super fine. The chain ply, this was all singles before the tour, and I chain plied it. This is the Greenwood Arcade color, and this is 157 yards and 60.5 grams. And then we just have our hand-prepared merino. The carded fiber, the combed fiber is 107.5 yards or 16.9 grams. The long draw is 57 yards and 13.8 grams. The semi-worsted bat spin is 63 yards and 14.1 grams. And last but not least, my chaos spin is 49 yards and 14.2 grams. So that is a grand total of 2,078 yards and 576.8 grams. The total of all singles, including the ones I had already spun, because I can't figure out exactly where I was and what I had and hadn't spun, but of all this yarn, it is 5,618.5 yards of yarn. That's a lot. So I feel like it has been a super successful tour this year. I'm really excited. I'm going to keep spinning every day. I'm going to try for every day, or at least almost every day. All I need to do is 5 minutes, and that box is checked. I think I can make that happen almost every single day. The key is to getting my wheel out and just doing it. So there is how far I am on my pomegranate spin. I'm going to go ahead and keep spinning on this, and even after the tour, this is going to be my focus. I will get this done before the next Tour De Fleece. That is a promise. I need to keep it to myself. Anyway, I hope that you have had just a wonderful time spinning and that you have made some beautiful yarns. I hope that you've learned something, and thank you all for your comments because you help me learn in the process. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I would love to hear how your tour went. If you have your totals of grams and yards, I'd love to hear that too. Not that it's a competition, but it intrigues me and I want to know. So on that note, I'm going to leave you and say farewell to Tour De Fleece, and I'll see you next year. Bye.